and welcome to Short Rest for our little special 3-part mini-series Deathmatch Island, The Great Leveler.
I know.
This one's going to be a bit of a short recap. So first and foremost, Michael Williams, welcome to Short Rest. This is where we talk about literally the 3 sessions we played in probably about 10 minutes. We all condense
Beautiful.
it. So what does The Great Leveler reference to, Nick?
Yeah, now that you told us.
Oh yeah, it's a book back on my shelf. It's this top book right here, but it's The Great Leveler. I have not read it yet, but I'm excited to read it. It is about it's like The Great Leveler: Violence and the History of Inequality. It's a history book that looks at how violence in situations like the French Revolution and other things has changed the course of history, and when more than just like war, but when society kind of breaks down and it becomes violent, and how that has addressed inequality in the past. I mostly just picked it as a name. Like when we started, I didn't know, because theory crafting is really important to me, figuring out what the story of the island is. So I didn't know if it was going to be tied to the government or an experiment or whatever. So I just picked that because of its association with violence, and I knew that there was going to be like the Evolved. I knew they were part of what was going to happen on our version of Deathmatch Island. So the Leveler also like levels of evolution and stuff, I thought was a good fit.
Honestly, I really enjoyed this system. And I initially was like, oh, it's a one and done. Like we'll never be able to play again because either one person lives and that's it. But the fact that there is like a carryover for either the same characters or new characters is really, really cool.
That's super cool.
Yeah, that's very much built into it. I mean, we saw with our Prisoner's Dilemma showdown that you all chose to break the game at that point.
I was this close to choosing something different.
Oh no!
That is what it's built for, is like you play, and you guys chose to break the game and you did really well. Obviously you all survived. I think a lot of times if you hadn't been so lucky or hadn't had quite so many things to call on, you could break the game and all die or not be able to make a thing, or like somebody chooses to play to win and gets the advantage and they win. There's different rules for how the end game goes if we're playing to win. What it would have been is whoever wins the scramble gets to pair off the surviving 3 of you, and Aspen would have survived. And you would have been in 2 teams of 2, chosen by the winner of, or the scout role actually. Chosen by the winner of the scout would have gotten to pick who the pairs are. And then it's, you guys have to fight to the death. And then the surviving 2 go to that arena, and one of you fights to the death. And it's production's not involved. You're not rolling off against production. Could have used your rocket launchers and everything else, and just try to kill one another. Is how it
Still
goes.
a rocket launcher.
You still have it. I mean, it's just, I'm sure it doesn't work, or I don't know.
It's hilarious.
Yeah,
though,
it's a toy now that it's off the island. It's been turned off.
That's wild.
But yeah, so as it is, you guys hurt Deathmatch Island. You did damage to the production of it, and you've set it up for any future players in our particular version of it. We'll go in with classified maps. There's secret places to land that you can go faster. You can get better equipment. So again, could be the cycle of pushing to try to destroy it, or somebody might choose to play to win and screw everybody over secretly, right? That's always a possibility.
Oh boy.
I feel like you really want to do redacted stuff because that's what saved our butt.
The mystery is very enticing.
It's just so tempting.
It's tough because a lot of your stuff can't be used when you're doing that, but it's where a lot of the secret information is, a lot of like the clues, a lot of the most powerful stuff. But yeah, it is like there's a lot of the dance contest that we saw. There's a lot of just those kinds of contests that you guys didn't do much of, where it's like going across a rope bridge or like survivor style contests against other teams is what the game is supposed to be from production's point of view, right? You guys are supposed to be doing entertaining contests to win equipment.
We're
That's
not the
usually
only
were
actors.
entertaining.
They got
We were
film
entertaining.
from other people doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they other people were playing the game, right? They just they ended up killing each other and other stuff off the thing. So yeah, the other element is when I'm setting it up, there's 4 island casts to choose from, and that determines like who the NPCs are and what the kind of theme of the season is. So there's ones that are about like cyclical violence. There's one about like violence and authority, that kind of stuff. The one that we chose was like D of A, B, C, and D. It's the weirdest one, and that's the one with amnesiacs, superpowers, and Magda.
That's better.
Being on the islands, because I'm like, if we might have only ever played this once. Let's just go for the weirdest one. Let's do superpowers and other weird stuff right out of the gate, right?
What was Zero's crew? Were they just assassins?
I mean, part of it is like if you had done more with them, you could have like maybe you focus on them and help them recover memories or help them figure out maybe there was information in the behind the scenes that like revealed what happened to them. I mean, all we saw on the screen is like they had their memories completely wiped and they were activated and then just went into like kill mode. They didn't have powers, but that's like, I think somebody in the CIA or whatever is testing how do people respond if we make them as blank slates as possible, if they don't have anything like, because all of you seem like you had some memories erased of being a professional wrestler or having good friends or whatever, or breaking up with Sarah and why. So it's like, what kinds of memories have what impact on how you respond to stress and violence and that kind of stuff. I think that's what the amnesiacs were testing in some way.
Interesting. Different things. Real quick, just so that we don't take too much time, but now we're gonna focus a little bit. I want to focus a little bit on the characters. Yeah. I mean, obviously we rolled randomly to choose our occupations, which kind of felt like what changed our characters or what molded them to what they were. How long did it take you to really mold out for Wilder?
So I sat with it for like the weekend that I did the rolling in the chat, and kind of started thinking about Baywatch. I have a friend who really enjoyed Baywatch from in like a very ironic kind of way, because it is blatantly terrible.
Yeah.
But I started thinking about that and thinking about my the trope of the action character, and then just sort of modernized that a little bit. My wife does like reality TV, and we actually wrote a mini-series for our channel called Bard Party that is a reality show competition. And so the notion of so I was like, all right, action hero, survivor, reality, they always have that like sad backstory. Like they pick people with like, this guy overcame foot cancer and so I wanted to like lean into the drama of it a little bit. And
is there a version of Wilder we didn't get to see?
Yeah, I think that there was. I almost went the like play to win route. Like because I was looking at the once you get that momentum and your dice pool starts growing, like it starts to become really tempting. But because I can imagine that trope turning into that to a characteristic antagonist kind of archetype.
Turning heel.
Yeah.
How about for Phyllis? Is there like a version of Phyllis that like a first draft that we didn't get to see?
I wanted her to be chaotic because when we rolled sandwich artists, I was like, what the fuck am I gonna do with that?
That's a hard roll. Yeah.
And I was like, that's why I wanted the little Airstream trailer. I was like, she probably made a sandwich shaped trailer. Like she is just like the most extreme. And
so you went extreme right away.
Yeah,
there was
she
no
was
first
extreme
draft.
right away.
Got
and then
it.
so like when we would get those prompts, I was like, what would she do? And that's all. I was just like, she probably is good at breaking and entering. This is probably how she gets a lot of her materials, but still is like somewhat good at the artist part. So, I mean, she didn't really want to kill anybody. I think she was honest of like, as long as you don't cross me, I won't cross you. But I mean, if you cross me, I will kill you.
I'm gonna say, having worked in a number of kitchens in my life, there's definitely a criminal element. Like, it's very much
you should have been smoking a lot more.
The wrestler reveal really felt like a missing piece.
Yeah.
Like you want all these followers and like, why are you so fit and all this other stuff?
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, she has a professional wrestling background. Totally makes sense.
Oh,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Yeah.
And all the tattoo.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. What about Austin? I want to know the road less traveled, or the what did we not see?
I was about to make Austin a Boy Scout leader. Like he was a totally different character.
Follow all the rules.
He was to follow all the rules. He was like the whole like whatever salute they give. That one. And he would have been talking about his boys. You know, he would have been a much different guy from like the South. Who was about me and my boys. We go out and we go hunting and we go out and we do all this great stuff. And I was like, that's fun and all, but I also wanted to make someone who was somewhat pathetic. I wrote in an aspect of like he had an ex-wife who he still loves very much, but I wanted to write something easy for me to go, but maybe I can change, and that's why the name is scratched out. So it was almost like it was contradictory, but it was enough so where I can go, it's open enough so I can interpret it any way I want. And I just ended up choosing a Jersey guy.
That was a lot of fun. I think part of the reason we ended up where we did is none of you had like a loved one that you were fighting to get back to. If it was down to one of you would have had to kill Aspen, she was gonna have like a husband and children she was trying to get back to. Because none of you did, so I didn't have a thing I could lean on hard. It's like, who do you miss back home, or why are you willing to kill to get back to XYZ? And it just happened your 3 characters didn't have that.
Oh, I'm so glad you saved them.
I know.
Yes, you saved that. Aspen does potentially get to return back to her normal life if they just try to wipe everybody's memories and get them out of here. But
bro, there's no way the sandwich artist was going to be giving kids. She's a little too
well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us for the short rest. And thank you so much again, Nick, for running this whole 3-part
super fun
series. And thank you so much, Michael, for being a guest in this one. Can't wait to have you guys back again whenever you have a chance. And we will check you guys next time. Bye.